Gene Key 24. From addiction to silence and returning to the wellspring within. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to another nurturing episode of Your Soul Essentials. I am Sylvia, your host, and your guide and sister on this sacred journey through the stars and the inner landscapes of the heart. Today we dive into the mesmerizing and deeply compassionate energy of the Gene Key 24, a path that leads from the shadow of addiction through the gift of invention and into the timeless city of silence. Gene Key 24 will be active in the collective field from April the 27th to the 3rd of May, offering us a profound invitation to turn inward, to listen deeply, and to allow the mind's restless loops to dissolve into the vastness of inner peace. In this transmission, we will explore the shadow, the gift, and city of Gene Key 24, that is from addiction to invention and to silence. Astrological reflections across planets like Chiron and Neptune, fixed stars resonating with the energy of return and inner renewal, galactic soul lineages, Arcturus, Lyra, and Sirius woven into this Gene Key. Essential oils to support mental clarity, emotional healing, and heart presence. And mantras and soul prompts to guide your return to inner spaciousness. And a final message to anchor trust in your own sacred unfolding. So take a deep breath, place one hand on your heart, and let's open the portal to remember. There is a silence beneath all sound where your true self resides. The frequency of shadow. And this is addiction. Addiction is often misunderstood. In the realm of Gene Key 24, it is not merely addiction to substances, behaviors, or patterns. It is the mind's addiction to thought itself. This shadow arises when we compulsively try to fill an inner void, repeating the same stories, seeking distractions, chasing after fleeting relief. But at the root, addiction is a longing for reunion, a homesickness for the source we have momentarily forgotten. When trapped in this shadow, we may find ourselves looping in obsessive thoughts, feeling restless even in moments of peace, seeking escape rather than entering stillness. So where do I numb, escape, or distract rather than feel? Can I lovingly witness the hunger beneath my habits? Addiction is never the enemy. It is a signpost, pointing us backward to the wellspring we truly seek, the silence within. Then we have the frequency of gift, invention. When we embrace the longing beneath addiction without judgment, something miraculous begins to happen. The energy that was once trapped in cycles of craving transmutes into creative genius. This is the gift of invention. The mind, instead of looping endlessly, begins to dance with possibility. Invention in Gene Key 24 isn't about forcing creative ideas. It is about allowing natural inspiration to arise when the mind softens its grip. Signs that you are stepping into the gift of invention. You begin to see solutions rather than problems. Insights appear when you least expect them, in dreams, walks, meditations. Your creativity becomes effortless, playful, and surprising. Invention is rooted in listening rather than striving. It emerges from the gasp between thoughts, from the spaces where silence births new worlds. Where am I invited to allow inspiration rather than chase it? And what brilliant ideas are waiting in the quiet places within me? Remember, every addiction hides a brilliant potential, a new melody, a new vision, a new way of being, just waiting for you to listen. And then we have the frequency of Siddhi. It is silence. At the highest frequency, Gene Key 24 reveals silence, not as the absence of sound, but as the presence beyond thought. This silence is not empty. It is the fullness of everything, the womb of all creation, the ground of infinite love, and the living stillness that holds all motion. In the Siddhi of Silence, thought ceases to dominate consciousness. Craving dissolves into being, and the mind returns to its natural state, an open sky, vast and boundless. You no longer seek to fill the void, because you realize you are the void, the fertile, sacred, timeless field from which all life flows. Can I allow moments of stillness without rushing to fill them? And what happens if I trust the pauses as much as the music? Silence is not something you achieve. It was always here, waiting for your soft surrender. Now let us take a look at the planetary archetypes of Gene Key 24. Gene Key 24 sits within the nurturing, earthy embrace of early Gemini, approximately between 0 and 5 degrees of Gemini, weaving the energies of communication, curiosity, mental exploration, and soul retrieval through thought. As Gene Key 24 moves through different planetary placements, it highlights how each archetype dances with addiction, invention, and silence. The Sun. It is illuminating the path from longing to inspiration. When Gene Key 24 is placed with the Sun, your life essence is about transmuting yearning into creativity. Your core vitality shines when you allow space for silence, and from that stillness, truly original ideas and soul songs emerge. Where does my light grow brighter when I honor stillness? The Moon. Emotional patterns of craving and surrender. With the Moon, Gene Key 24 speaks to deep emotional cravings. You may seek emotional fulfillment through external sources, until you realize that true nourishment comes from within. Emotional peace arrives when you trust the silent spaces between feelings. And how can I nurture my emotional tides without seeking to escape them? Mercury, healing the addicted mind. Mercury with Gene Key 24 enhances the mind's capacity for invention, but first ask you to reclaim your mental space. The busy, craving mind becomes a clear channel for profound insight when aligned with the gift frequencies. And how can I create more mental spaciousness in my communication and thinking? Venus, the alchemy of longing in relationships. Venus here invites a deep healing of relational patterns. You may find yourself magnetized toward relationships that trigger old patterns of longing and unfulfillment, until you realize true intimacy arises in the silent recognition of shared being. And can I love others from fullness rather than seeking to be filled? Mars, transforming inner tension into creative spark. Mars with Gene Key 24 can manifest restlessness, frustration, or impulsive behavior. But when transmuted, this energy becomes fierce inspiration and bold creative breakthroughs. Your drive can serve the flowering of originality when rooted in inner stillness. And how can I channel my inner fire into sacred creativity instead of compulsive action? Jupiter, expanding the realm of insightful silence. With Jupiter, Gene Key 24 invites you to see silence as abundance. Your greatest growth and blessings come not from striving, but from surrendering to the grace of not knowing. And where might silence open unexpected doors of expansion in my life? Saturn, mastering patience through the fertile void. Saturn teaches that true invention requires time, space, and emptiness. The most enduring creations arise from the willingness to sit in the void without rushing the process. Am I willing to trust the process even when I don't see immediate results? Uranus, awakening radical stillness and mental freedom. Uranus brings the potential for sudden liberation from old mental patterns. Epiphanies come in flashes, not through more thinking, but through unexpected silences. And how can I invite surprise and openness into my mental landscape? Neptune, dissolving addictions through spiritual ecstasy. Neptune infuses Gene Key 24 with mystical compassion. The ultimate longing is not for substances or solutions, but for reunion with the source. Art, music, meditation, and spiritual devotion become sacred ways to dissolve into divine silence. And how does beauty guide me home to the silence within? Pluto, deep transformation through facing inner longing. Pluto is here powerful. It demands deep confrontation with the roots of addiction and compulsive patterns. Transformation is inevitable when you surrender the illusion of control and meet the ache beneath with tender awareness. And what old cravings am I ready to offer into the fire of grace? The North Node, the destiny path toward inner fulfillment and soul retrieval. The soul path with Gene Key 24 calls you to retrieve your lost parts, heal ancestral patterns of longing, and walk the path of silent sage. The one who creates from emptiness, speaks from stillness, and lives from wholeness. And what parts of me are asking to be gently called home? There we have Chiron, healing the wound of separation and addiction. Chiron with Gene Key 24 brings a deep soul wound related to feelings of emptiness, rejection, and spiritual longing. You may have sought external things, substances, attention, achievements to fill an inner ache. But true healing happens when you welcome the silence beneath the craving, allowing it to become the space where divine love meets you. And what part of my longing holds the seed of my deepest healing? And Black Moon Lilith, embracing the raw wildness of longing. Black Moon Lilith brings a fierce primal energy to Gene Key 24. It highlights hidden rage of grief around feeling unmet, unfulfilled, or spiritually abandoned. This aspect teaches that even your deepest cravings carry sacred intelligence. When honored, not suppressed, they become pathways back to soul sovereignty and radical wholeness. And can I embrace the wild, raw places in me as sacred gateway home? Which fixed stars have their influence on Gene Key 24? Gene Key 24 resonates with early Gemini energies, the liminal, airy field of thought, communication, curiosity, and higher mental faculties. Several powerful fixed stars weave through this frequency, offering cosmic support for transcending addiction, reclaiming inner silence, and birthing through inspiration. Here are some of the most resonant stars for Gene Key 24. We have the star Alcyone at 0 degrees of Gemini, heart-centered awakening and emotional intelligence. Alcyone is from the Pleiades cluster, and this star vibrates with the codes of deep emotional clearing, heightened intuition, and soul-level remembrance. In Gene Key 24, Alcyone softens mental rigidity and invites the heart-mind connection to be restored. It teaches that true invention does not come from frantic thinking, but from aligning with the intelligent silence of the heart. And how can I let my mind be cradled by my heart's ancient knowing? And then we have the star Prima Hyadum at 5 degrees in the Gemini section. Emotional healing through divine waters. This star is a part of the Hyades star cluster, and Prima Hyadum holds watery frequencies of emotional purification and soul renewal. And this star teaches that longing is natural, but when honored with grace, it leads to emotional evolution, not emotional drowning. It supports Gene Key 24 passage from emotional craving to serene clarity. And how can I honor my emotional tides without being swept away by them? And then we have the fixed star Aldebaran, on 9 degrees in the Gemini section, and guardian of integrity and divine mission. Though a little beyond Gene Key 24's exact gate, Aldebaran's radiance touches the field. This star can be found in the Taurus constellation. As one of the 4 royal stars, Aldebaran embodies integrity, guardianship, and unwavering clarity. It encourages right action born from silence, rather than compulsive reaction from craving. With Gene Key 24, it anchors the understanding that stillness births true power. And how does inner silence guide me toward my highest integrity? The early Gemini stars weave a bridge between longing and wholeness, between the noisy mind and the radiant mind that speaks only in symbols, dreams, silence, and song. These stellar allies help transmute addiction into originality and craving into cosmic creativity. Now let us take a look into the galactic lineages and the cosmic origins. Gene Key 24, carrying the journey from addiction to invention and ultimately to silence, resonates with some of the most ancient and visionary galactic soul families. These cosmic lineages carry codes for transcending separation, healing longing, and reclaiming the creative power of emptiness. And here are some galactic influences that are beautifully aligned with Gene Key 24. The Andromedans architects of liberation and inner freedom. The core frequencies are cosmic detachment, sovereign creativity, and expansive consciousness. Andromedan souls hold the memory of radical freedom beyond duality. They teach that all craving stems from forgetting our innate vastness. With Gene Key 24, the Andromedan Codes reminds us you are already whole, and your silence is sacred. Your being is enough. Where have I confused longing with lack instead of listening to the space as my guide? Then we have the Pleiadian energy, carriers of the heart and mind harmony. The core frequencies are emotional intelligence, heart-centered wisdom, and dream weaving. The Pleiadian consciousness helps dissolve mental overactivity and brings us back to feeling as knowing. And with Gene Key 24, they support the alchemy of turning painful cycles of addiction into beautiful rivers of intuition and grace. And how can I let my heart dream my life rather than letting my mind grasp for it? And then we have the Arcturian energy, masters of consciousness architecture and inner silence. The core frequencies are healing, frequency mastery, and crystalline thought. The Arcturians guides us in creating structures that support deep stillness and soul embodiment. With Gene Key 24, they offer the wisdom that true invention doesn't arise from noise, but from a mind that has become like clear water reflecting cosmic truth. And what structures in my life invite true silence, creativity, and soul nourishment? And we have the Vega or the Lyra lineage, keepers of sacred sound and resonant creation. The core frequencies are musical intelligence, soul memory, and sound healing. Vegan souls carry the codes of sound as primordial creation, and with Gene Key 24, they awaken the remembrance that pure silence is the mother of all music, poetry, and genius. From silence, all beauty flows. And can I let the silence between my thoughts become my greatest symphony? The cosmic families reminds us that silence is not emptiness, it is creative fullness. It is not absence, it is the fertile field of new worlds longing to be born through you. When you soften into the inner stillness that Gene Key 24 invites, you remember that you are not separate from the stars, you are their living dream. And of course, as always, you will find here some essential oils that guide this beautiful Gene Key 24 energy and guide you with silence, healing, and invention. Essential oils are not just fragrances, they are living transmissions of plant consciousness, and each oil carries specific frequencies that can help calm the restless mind, ease emotional cravings, and open inner gateways to silence, inspiration, and remembrance. For Gene Key 24, here are the most aligned allies. Frankincense, the oil of sacred silence. Frankincense gently lifts the mind out of compulsive thinking. It invites spaciousness, stillness, and deep soul breath. A powerful companion for meditation, prayer, and healing the addiction to mental noise. You can diffuse it during contemplation or apply a drop to the third eye, of course with a carrier oil when seeking deep peace. And we have the oil of clarisage, the oil of vision and inner clarity. Clary Sage clears energetic fog from the mind. It heightens intuitive perception and brings fresh insight out of seeming confusion. Perfect for bridging the gap between longing and creative invention. You can use Clary Sage in a diffuser before creative work, or place a drop on your wrists when you journal or making a dream plan. And then we have the oil of neroli, the oil of emotional alchemy. Neroli, it is the orange blossom, carries the vibration of tender healing for the heart. It soothes all grief, clears emotional addictions, and reconnects you to pure joy. It teaches that silence is a sanctuary, not abandonment. Anoint your heart center before sleep, or you can mix it into a self-love bath ritual with rose petals and, of course, Epsom salt. Then we have the sandalwood, the oil of higher consciousness. Sandalwood grounds the soul into the body while simultaneously opening higher channels. It supports devotion to inner silence and the mystical dimensions beyond thought. It aligns the mind with the heart's timeless wisdom. You can work with this oil by anoint the soles of your feet before meditation, or use it during mantra chanting, breath work, or silent prayer. You can also use vetiver, the oil of deep earth stillness. Vetiver is profoundly grounding. It slows the racing mind and connects you to the deep, slow heartbeat of Gaia. It is a master helper for those who feel overwhelmed by thought loops or inner restlessness. You can work with vetiver by applying it to the spine or sacrum area before sleep, and use after a stressful day to reconnect to your body temple. Here I have created some sacred blend suggestions for you. The Silent Mind Diffuser Blend, 2 drops of frankincense, 2 drops of clary sage, and 1 drop of neroli. A Sacred Sleep Anointing, 1 drop of vetiver, 1 drop of sandalwood mixed in jojoba oil for applying to the heart and feet. Or an Invention Inspiration Bath, Epsom salt, neroli, and clary sage, and float into visions without forcing them. If you want to work with this wonderful energy of Gene Key 24, here are some mantras for you that I have created. For the shadow of addiction, you can use I honor the hunger within me and breathe love into the emptiness. For the gift of invention, from silence, miracles are born, and I trust the new creations arising through me. And for the Siddhi of Silence, in the infinite silence, I remember who I truly am. And of course, here are some additional supportive mantras. It is safe to be still and listen. I am whole, even when I do nothing. And silence is not emptiness, it is the fullness of my being. Dear luminous traveler, as we journeyed today through the sacred landscapes of Gene Key 24, remember this. Within you lies a wellspring untouched by time, a silence so vast, so alive, it holds the blueprint of your soul's purest dreams. You are not your cravings. You are not your fears. You are the infinite spaciousness beneath them, the fertile field from which miracles arise. And as you walk through this week, I invite you, dare to pause, dare to listen, and dare to trust the golden silence blooming inside you. In that space, inspiration will meet you, creativity will dance with you, and your true essence will sing once more. If today's journey spoke to your heart, I warmly invite you to subscribe to the channel to continue walking these sacred pathways with me. Together, we remember who we are, and together we rise. And if you feel called, share this transmission with a soul who longs to come home to themselves too. The more hearts we awaken, the brighter we all shine. Until next time, breathe deep, trust the silence, and know you are always already home. Thank you for being here and listening to this episode of the Jinky 24. Shante Ishta, and thank you.